Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, friends, countrymen, even the Romans, welcome to another episode of the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. This episode is titled The Sunday Rise. It is myself, the Midnight Rider. It's the Gentleman Jack. Our host is the big guy, KG. What we're going to do is take you on a nice little run today. We're going to talk a little bit of MLB spring training. We're going to talk a little bit about Popovich. If you guys have had a chance to see Channing Frye's comments on NBA Nostalgia, we're going to get into some of that too. So sit back, get you a nice frosty beverage, maybe get you some popcorn or some pineapples or whatever you into. Enjoy the show. KG, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. As the Midnight Rider said, this is the Sunday Rise. We're going to start this thing off right. How you gentlemen feeling tonight?
We good.
I'm good, but Midnight Rider, I got a question for you, partner.
Go ahead.
Did you say popcorn and pineapple?
Popcorn, pineapples, whatever. Not and, just whatever you eating, whatever you into.
Oh, I wasn't sure. I thought that might have been, brother thing.
Nah.
I thought it might have been a brother thing.
Nah. If it was, you probably be doing it.
They put it on pizza and shit. Which I'm not a fan of, but my daughter loves it.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'll fight you over that, but that's different.
My sister don't care for my oldest of my two sisters doesn't care for it too much, Miss Pamela. We was in Ocean City for a softball tournament, and we had the girls over, and we was partying, carrying on. Well, my sister's friend that she brought to the party, and we had pizzas too. We had pizzas everywhere. Ended up, my sister had to assist her and hold her hair in the bathroom. If I hold her hair, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't start out at the toilet. She started out in the sink. So my sister, being the friend, had to clean that shit up. And she had ham and pineapple pizza. So my sister don't get down with the pineapple.
That makes all the sense in the world.
I know, right? But back to the show.
Matty Ice checking in from Raleigh, North Carolina. Good morning, Matty. Showtime sir doing the driving for me this time. So Matty gonna be full participant because he ain't got to drive.
Exactly.
Earl Lawrence checking in. What's up, Earl? What
Showtime.
up, fellas? All right.
What's up, Squirrel?
Come on, don't be glitchy on me now. Spring training.
That's what I was begging about.
Fellas, at Midnight Rider, you said something, and I needed to address this. Talking about spring training, you saw your favorite player hit a home run in the Mets uniform, and you don't like it.
Where are you gonna start with this, dog?
Yeah, because
it built me up.
This is why I want to start with this, because I want to get it out the way. Because when I tell you, when you said that, my heart ripped in two, because I felt the pain that you're talking about. When you see your favorite player in a Mets uniform,
It hurt last year when he was in the Yankees uniform.
No, that's good.
In spring training, I think the first time I saw it, I threw up in my mouth. So I was like, hey. I mean, Juan Soto should have just stayed in San Diego. I'd have been a much happier person. I could live with him in San Diego's colors. But since we want to start with Juan Soto, let's start with him getting his number 22. One of the highlights of spring training. There's a young guy, I think his name's Brian Beatty, who was a top pick. He's kind of their version of our Carter Kieboom. Hasn't really been healthy, hasn't really lived up to the hype that he had. Well, he wore 22 prior to Juan Soto arriving. He just said, hey, you're Juan Soto. I'm Brian Beatty. Here's the 22. At which point Juan Soto decided to do some research, got with some people. They found out that his favorite car was a Chevy Tahoe. So he ends up buying him a Chevy Tahoe in exchange for the number, even though the guy didn't ask for it. So they presented him with that jersey. I think it was Thursday or Friday, outside of spring training. So now he's got his dream car, and all he had to do for it was give up his 22 willingly. So that's one of the things that came out of that for me. Go ahead.
A Tahoe is your dream? Well, I guess it could be like that. Because at one point, the Ford Expedition was my dream car, and I got it. That thing was badass when I got it, too.
Yeah, like Nissan Maxima is mine.
A Max? Well, I got a 2010 in the parking lot trying to buy it.
How much?
I'll get to you 4 G's.
For what?
What
That
year we
thing probably
talking?
got like
First, hold on.
185,000 miles on it.
What year?
No, it's got 32. 42. All right, Maxima. Back when I was a youngster, I used to the Acura Legend was my joint. I never got one.
Look,
one. But
I'm looking for one, and I found a couple. But y'all already know. I can look for it. I can get the paperwork done. But when it's time to put the money down, and the wife finds out that money about to come out, and she find out what it's for, and she find out it's for another car. Yeah, I'm getting in trouble for that.
I don't know why you like living dangerously.
Well, I mean, I gotta fulfill certain stipulations before I get said car. So
okay.
And I just haven't fulfilled the stipulation. She wants me to have more room because she wants me to be able to park every car that I have comfortably and not have to worry about anybody towing my stuff.
That makes sense.
It does. But I try to sell her on the notion of, like, I want this T-top Regal, old school joint. And I told her, I was like, we get this T-top. I take them T-tops down in the springtime, and we go riding down Cobb Island to go get some ribs with them T-tops down. I'm telling you.
Down Cobb
Ain't that right,
Island to
Lovey?
get some ribs.
Yes, sir.
I swear he was going to say seafood to get some crabs or something. Cobb Island.
Nah, you
How
don't
many
remember
rib
this?
shops you drive by to get to Cobb Island?
Quite a few, but ain't no ribs like that. The best ribs in the area.
That's not. Yeah, in that area.
No. In the whole area, there is no ribs better than JB's.
JB's in Cobb
Yep.
Island. All right, I got to hit my. I know a guy. My buddy Opie got a place in Cobb Island with his family. They probably know
I know a guy.
And it's funny because I told my wife, I said, we're gonna start working on moving down there permanently. That's why I want to retire to. They had a house for sale out there. I'm talking about you walk out on the back deck. You want breakfast? You cast the line out about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Reel something in. You got breakfast right there.
You know how to gut
That's
a fish?
where we at. Of course.
Hey,
I know how to scale it and gut it.
Okay. Just don't. Hey, I'm a city boy. So I don't know this stuff. So
You don't know how to clean a fish, man, Ryan?
No, I say, here's the extra 10 to clean that for me. Go ahead and what? That's not on my bucket list, baby.
I ain't touching that shit. You just like Marshawn.
No,
I'll cook crabs, but deheading and gutting the fish, nah.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I'd be like Martin and Bad Boys. You know when they get around the dead bodies?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah,
now, I'm gonna tell you something that'll mess up your head. This will mess up your head with fish. When you put the fish in water, and my grandmother had some fish, she pulled them out the freezer. My cousin had brought her a bucket of fish, and she had put them in the freezer. She was gonna take them out and clean them. So they got ice all around. So she put them in there. We kept hearing something in the kitchen, like, what the hell is that? Go in the kitchen, nothing there. So come back out, hear it again. You hear water sloshing around. Go in there, the fish is going off in the sink, moving around. This fish has been in the daggone freezer for 2 months.
What? I ain't never seen nothing like that, and I've seen almost every fish story there is.
And he was still alive. He still had a little movement, and he's still going. My grandma was like, I was like, yeah, I'm not messing with that. She said, what you worried about? I said, I'm not messing with that. I told her point blank. I looked at her dead in her face. all 4'10" of them. I said, Essie, I'm not messing with that. You got it. And I kind of backed out the kitchen. She said, okay. She took it. She held it out, and it's moving around. It's wiggling. She said, oh, that's good. That's going to be good right there, man. She took the scissors, cut his head right off.
That's it.
Easy.
Nah.
Like, she made it look easy. I was like, oh, my God. But she taught me how to do all that.
Well, you know, I got invited on a headboat trip one time out of Rod and Reel down North Beach. And I was a sixth person, I believe. One guy backed out on him. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go fishing with y'all. They was, you know, landlubbers. So we out there, we're catching perch and croakers, you know, nothing, no big rockfish or nothing. But next thing I know, we got a big ass bucket of fish. And I'm like, y'all eat fish, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I didn't ask them, do y'all clean fish? Because when we get back to the dock, them boys is in the car chilling. And I'm sitting there with a bucket and a half full of fish. I had to clean, man. Oh, I was hot. Never went fishing with them fools again. Because I'm a dude. I'm not going to waste fish. You know, that's not right to take them out of the water and then not take them home and eat them.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm talking KG. I'm talking 60 fish, 70 fish, man. You know how it is.
That's a lot of goddamn cleaning, man.
I started filleting them jokers. I was making fish sticks. I ain't lying.
Earl Lawrence said I could mangle the shit out of fish. He'll be clean, but mangle. Hey, Earl, I think it was a demon fish, but I'm not. Now I'll clean the fish. I'll gut a fish, all that. But if it got bones in it, I'm not going to eat it. Like, only fish that I won't clean and do anything to is a catfish. I get that done professionally. Because I like catfish nuggets. I like deep fried catfish nuggets.
It's hard work cleaning the catfish. I mean, that skin will dull your knife alone. But my daddy taught me, man, you get a gutter spike and nail a catfish to the tree. And then you get some pliers and you pull that skin off. It's the easiest way. But yeah, I buy my catfish at the store.
You do an eel the same way. Nail it to a tree, pull that skin right down. But my grandmother said, she always used to tell me, she said, if you take an eel, put it on a plate, put it in the refrigerator. By morning, the skin will be falling off. It's a lot easier if you do it that way.
Never heard that. I don't skin eels. Eels bait to me.
Jack Wagner checking in. Welcome to Fishing Talk, Jack Wagner.
Oh, that could be a show, bro.
So back to spring training.
Thank you.
I've been waiting on you to say that, Midnight Rider. Fish talk with KG and the gentleman.
Hey, that's what we are.
Oh man! So the player you were talking about, Jack, in the pre-show is Altuve.
Altuve, yep. He's getting up in age, but he's still a nice stick.
Yep. The next thing we got to talk about is the New York Yankees. New York Yankees have revised their hair policy where now they will allow beards, but they have to be neatly manicured or neatly groomed. So
that means you'll be out.
My beard by like Thursday, I'll probably be benched by the Yankees.
You'll be Shaggy Muffin.
Hey man, they like the shag.
You about due for a haircut, ain't you?
Nah, because I'm gonna roll with the curls for a while.
Roll with the nappy dugout.
This ain't like that, baby.
Okay.
It's that good stuff. Okay. It's that stuff you put Soul Glow in. Now we got another tangent. I'm not doing this with you this morning.
With the plastic covers on your damn couch, just so girls. Earl know about that. Earl know about that plastic cover on the couch.
All right, let's see. What else am I talking about in baseball? We got the Yankees. We got that. There's still some lower level free agents that need to be signed. It's amazing. We're getting more and more free agents that aren't signing until we get to spring training, which is unusual. We used to have that time in November with the hot stove, where the hot stove would get started and you see guys just fly off the thing. But now, I think it's kind of the Scott Boras effect. These guys are waiting a long time to sign. Some of them are waiting to the first or second week of spring training because they can actually you get to see like where a team's deficiency is, and then you kind of get to pick where you want to end up. So that's kind of the smart thing about doing it that way. But I've noticed that as a trend. Go ahead.
They used to do a lot of trades during the winter meetings too, didn't they?
Yep.
February.
The winter meeting was like their version of the trade deadline almost.
Right. So it's I see Jack Wagner talking about your boy. I knew Jack was gonna say something about Juan. He likes him too.
Let me see. Let's catch up real quick.
Okay.
Here we go. Welcome to Fish Talk on Sideline Junkies. We cover everything, Maddie. We cover everything, baby. Bruh, that gray will get you bitched alone. Same as me.
There's a couple grays out there.
Soul Glow.
You know all about it.
And Jack Wagner, Juan Soto had a great first day with the Mets. Let's not pour salt in the wounds, baby.
But he didn't have a day as good as my boy over there in Cincinnati, De La Cruz. De La Cruz went yard twice yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's got a sweet swing, man.
He's going to be, if they get anything around him, and I mean anything, that's going to be a tough squad. They're going to be a tough out no matter what, just because they have him.
They got Fredo.
Yeah.
They got a couple dudes over there, but they need some arms. Cincinnati.
I totally agree. Anything else that you can think of, Jack, that I might have missed?
Nah, I was shooting some stuff at you the other day about the ABS system.
Oh, let's talk about that. This is the strike zone. I love this.
Yeah.
So this system, I saw it last night. The first time I saw it in play, Pete Alonso. Actually, the game I'm watching now is a replay. But Pete Alonso looks at what he thinks is ball four. The umpire rings him up. As the umpire goes to ring him up, he taps the top of his hat because he gets two of these. He gets two challenges. The catcher gets two challenges. The pitcher has two challenges. So he taps his hat, automatically telling the replay guy to put it on the screen. The beauty of the ABS system for me is the fact that they put it on the screen in the stadium. So now everybody gets to see and react to what the call is. They see the ball go outside the strike zone. It's called a ball. And I think he walked on that play, if memory serves me correctly. So with that being said, I think I like the ABS. I think it's going to help the game move quicker because you don't have to sit there like they do for the out. And you see the manager going onto the phone and walking around and doing his hair and doing whatever else. Like, it's an instant thing. And it's only 8 or 10 seconds. So I don't even think it slows the game down. In any sense.
They got a time limit on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw the one yesterday, in real time, it was no different than anything else in the game. I think it's going to take off. I think the only part that you have a struggle with is the umpire association may fight it as long as they can, but it's going to be inevitable. It's like Thanos. That's why it's inevitable.
Well, I mean, I've been thinking ever since they mentioned this, and they've been experimenting with it in the minors for a couple years now.
Right.
I mean, you're taking human error out of the game. I mean, let's not say all these umpires suck because they're missing a call. I mean, these balls coming in at 90 plus mile an hour.
Exactly.
Depending on what side of the catcher's head he's lined up on. Can he see the inside? Can he see the outside type stuff? I mean, it's as small as positioning for umpires to possibly miss a call. So I like it and I don't like it. I don't like the idea. I mean, it's America's game, man. Making a lot of changes. And this can be for the best, but it can just make umpires look like doo-doo, man. And you said it might not take that much time out of a game because we have just used a lot of rules to shorten the game to, make the fan the fans want to stay and watch a game instead of be there for 4 hours. I don't know if I'm liking it or not. The first call was made in Miami and they won the challenge. That was the first one. I saw that.
Jack, if you saw this in real time, you wouldn't worry about the timing of it. I'm telling you.
Well, and you say, it can happen up 6 times in one game. Is the way I'm getting it.
I don't know the limitations yet. I thought it was each batter got 2.
You get 2, and if you get it right, you get it back.
Right, exactly.
But I think that's only one time get back.
I thought if you keep getting it right, you keep doing it. That's the way it was explained Friday on the radio.
Oh,
But no. This is no argument. This is we're trying to vet this out because we want to make sure we have the right information. So let's look at some things and see what we can find by Tuesday, and come back and try to correct where we are.
Maddie might have an answer for us, but
I think it's just 2 challenges per team, and see, I think it's per player. So that's one place we got to look to figure it out. Keep it if you win, but only catchers, pitchers, and batters can do the challenge. Right?
2 per player.
But let me ask you. Let me ask you, gentlemen, a question. Why not just go? And Maddie, I know you remember this because we talked about this. Why not go back to what the NHL did when they put the NHL on Fox? Put the chip in the baseball so you can track it that way.
That's what the system does.
You're already doing it on like ESPN. They can tell you what's a strike, where the ball's landing at in the strike zone and everything.
That's kind of what the system is.
Okay,
is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So they're not doing nothing crazy. I think the part that they're doing is they're trying to find a happy median before going full-fledged with it. And if you remember, Eric Burns 10 years ago did an independent game using the ABS system, and it would give him a robotic call in his ear, ball or strike, and he would make the call in real time, ball or strike, based on the thing in his ear.
What?
Yeah. If you check out Brian Gumbel, hold on, what was it? Brian Gumbel did like what was this show on HBO, KG?
Oh,
Real Sports.
Yeah, Real Sports.
Yeah.
I think it was a feature on Real Sports. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so.
If you got a man down there with a thing in his ear, well, you might as well just announce it over the PA system. That was a strike, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what do you need an umpire down there for? Shit, because you got to call them out at home. That's why.
Right. That's part of the concept here. Is they're saying, really the only thing you need home plate umpires for is to relay the call to the fans or to people, and then
fair ball, foul ball.
Fair ball, foul ball, and all that other stuff. So it's going to be interesting. I like the fact that they use the minor leagues and spring training to test these things out, because we know for a fact that the NFL, even though they don't always say it, but they let the XFL and the USFL, when they were separate, and even now that they're together,
with that kickoff,
they let them hash out some rules and stuff, and then they figure out what they like from it, like the kickoff situation.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. Are college baseball players getting NIL deals? I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's
volleyball players get an NIL deal.
Yeah.
But wait. Why are college baseball players getting NIL deals when they get paid? They actually, you can actually get drafted out of high school and decide to go to college. They still pay your contract. Your baseball money still pays your contract. And you can still have your amateurism.
No, that's false. You have to figure it out at that point. You're either a baseball player in major leagues or you're a college baseball player. You don't get to hold on to your contract. It's an either or situation. And if I'm wrong, I'll gladly come back and say I'm wrong. But no, you have to play in the minors when you sign in.
Now, if you remember, Ricky Williams, the running back from Texas. They talked
I
about
think-
kicking him out of school because he was in the Phillies minor league system, and that money that he got, he lost his scholarship. So he had to pay for his full ride with his baseball money.
I think some of this, and KG, I'm glad you brought this up because this is something I need to get back into. But I've always been under the impression that they had to declare one or the other. Because I don't remember Russell Wilson playing for the Yankees until he got to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So this may have been a situation because you got to think about it. You're talking about Ricky Williams, which was in the late '90s. It's possible that one of the CBAs closed that off and then changed it to where they have it's either or. Because I always remember if you ever watch Moneyball, the beginning of Moneyball is what you call it going to Stanford, and his parents are like, well, can he go to Stanford, get his education, and still play for I think it was the Mets? And they were like, no, he has to choose. So that's something. That's another piece where we put a pin in that, and then we just go do some research and see what we can find, man. But I know what you're talking about. I remember vaguely about Ricky Williams. I just don't remember the entire situation.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, now about him, the money he got from the Phillies, he actually put his sisters through school with that money. So he was essentially a walk-on at Texas. He wasn't a scholarship player because he had a job. He was a walk-on. So he had his football amateurism, but he couldn't play baseball. But he paid for his sister to go through school with his Phillies money. They did a Sports Illustrated article on it.
Well, go to your stack and pull that. No, I'm joking.
I wish I could, man. I wish I still had the stacks. I'd go right in the stacks and find everything you wanted.
But no, like I said, I think somewhere in the CBA, maybe Ricky was on something different. But yeah, I don't remember that being an option anymore. Because if that's the case, Jameis would have probably pitched in the minors instead of pitching at Florida State. My guy at Mississippi State, the ambidextrous kid, who I think he's pitching right-handed now, because that's the only way that's how he got drafted, as a righty. But yeah, we'll see. We'll go back and do some research. Nice, great question, Boom.
Mm-hmm. That's the question I wanted to see right there. So after that question, comment. I'm sorry. I'd like to follow up this comment, KG.
Go ahead. Maddie, I said trying to find what catchers can frame pitches still have a job, because if they go to full computer calling balls and strikes, the catcher can frame it. That can frame is useless.
I was thinking about that the other day when I first saw the ABS was going to be in the minors. Yeah, any catcher that's creative back there, I used to frame a nice outside pitch myself, and that's credit to the catcher. That's just credit to the catcher to be a good framer. And yeah, if we go to this ABS system, framing a pitch is going to be useless. It's not even going to be needed. Way to bring that up, Maddie. I thought that the other day and forgot about it today. It's going to make framing pitches useless, Midnight Rider.
I disagree. I think you still get to frame it because you only get limited number of challenges. So you might as well still go ahead and frame it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Keep doing the framing. And then
2 challenges every batter? I think that's false.
Again, that's why we talk about it today. We research it tomorrow, and we come back with a answer Tuesday, baby. That's the hope you get this whole show, man. We can be wrong, but we're going to get you the right information as soon as we get it.
Eventually, yep.
Because we don't sit here, we're not sitting there like, oh, we know all. We don't. I love how the Yankees are crying now about a salary cap in baseball, now when they are no longer the kings of the hill.
They still up on that hill. They still up on that $1 billion hill.
They're further down that hill than you think. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it in the group. I'm going to try to pull it up.
No, I saw it. I thought it was the Yankees and the Dodgers at the top of that hill.
Nah. It's not the Yankees and the Dodgers. It's somebody else.
The Mets.
Yeah, here it is. So, I got to old man this, take off the glasses so I can see the small print. Yeah, so the Dodgers at 1.46 billion, Mets at 1.02, San Francisco's at 492, Arizona's at 372. The Yankees are fifth at 278 million. The Phillies are sixth at 206 million. The Cubs are seventh with 193 million. The Blue Jays are eighth at 185. Coming in at 9 is the Texas Rangers with 173. And the number 10 team with a booming salary of 170 are the Houston Astros. For local ties, the Orioles are 18th at 84 million. The Braves are stealing because they signed a bunch of their young cats to long-term deals under market value. They're 19 with 84 million. And then our beloved Nats are 23rd with a payroll of 49 million. We also know this is, hold on, let me get this right. How much money each team has spent in the last 2 off seasons. That's what that is. So
right.
Yeah.
But look at the difference in the first place team and the last team. That's it's
monumental.
They've spent $1.43 billion more dollars than the Marlins.
Yeah.
That's just a team that just doesn't want to win. I mean, I don't get this. 5 million, 8 million. Jesus Christ. I mean, the team with billions is a bit ridiculous too.
But think about the markets you're looking at. Like, baseball is an East and West Coast sport. The teams in the middle try to make up space where they can. Like the NL East, it's the Yankees. I'm sorry. It's the Phillies, Mets, and then the Braves come in. Then you got in the AL East, you got the Yankees. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a big difference. I didn't expect to see 5 million when you number 3 team is $500,000.
That's the last 2 all seasons. So that it kind of shows you who's trying and who's not trying.
It does. It really does.
Let me throw something at y'all.
All right.
If something that you said, and I kind of took offense to it, but it's not even a real offense. It's fake outrage for me. You said I think you said the Braves signed a lot of their young dudes below market value long-term contracts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a second baseman, Ozzie Albies, who's on I think he's on either a 7-year, $35 million deal. So all he did was they put out his arbitration years and then added like 2 more seasons. But he gets the money now instead of having to wait in arbitration and wait for them to get to that number.
Right.
So he figured instead of playing 2 or 3 years for a couple $100,000, he'd take the $5 million earlier and get paid sooner than having to wait.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't exactly get to, like, in year 7 for him, he could probably sign a bigger contract, but he'd have to go through all those arbitrations years 2 through 6 to get to a certain point. And he's not going to get to that number, 5 million or 7 million, whatever the number is, right away. So he's going to have to work his way up. Why deal with that? Why deal with some team coming in telling you every year, oh, your numbers are good, but you're only worth this much money? Because that's all arbitration is.
Midnight Rider, that's, Baltimore in the middle of the pile. What'd you say? Number 18, so a little bit down from the middle. But I think their number is at that point 84 mil because they're grown in-house. A lot of these boys came through the system and they haven't cashed in yet.
Exactly.
When it comes time to sign Gunnar and Adley, this here is going to get up in the hundreds of millions and stuff like that.
Right. And remember, this is just the money they spent the last 2 off seasons. This isn't their season
No,
Yeah.
I understand, but they're going to have to re-sign these boys, and that's going to be considered an off-season spend.
Oh, that's going to be huge. I mean, they got to be putting themselves in position now for those moments. And
They
then
haven't done that.
hopefully one or both of them aren't Boris guys. Because if they're a Boris guy, you're not signing them after year 6 unless they make that proclamation to Boris.
I'm gonna say this. Now this is it'll translate in a way, but I thought that was always the way to do it. You get your young guys that you know got talent, and you sign them to cap-friendly, team-friendly finances deals. And I mean, I've been doing that on Madden for years. You get a young guy in a free agency, you see, oh man, he got a star development trait. I can develop this dude. You sign him for a 7-year, $3 million contract. And then you develop him from a 67 to an 89 in 3 years. And the next thing you know, he's one of the best middle linebackers in the league. And you're paying peanuts.
Well,
and then by the time his contract is up, he's on the backside, so he's not going to command much more money. Is it right? No. Smart.
Yeah, but right. in your Madden thing, it's not going to equate the volatility of the market because your guy that once he becomes an 80 and he knows he's an 80, he should hold out or force you to move him so he can renegotiate his deal. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, they hold out.
Teams,
they hold out.
Huh?
They hold out.
Okay. But there's a lot of teams that, like in baseball, if they are small markets, they'll build this way. They'll build by I got you, Jack. They'll build by signing guys earlier. The only problem with the Nats is most of the guys that the Nats pick. Again, we bringing up the name again, Scott Boras, and he doesn't believe in giving away money. So he wants every dollar and the top dollar. Go ahead, Jack.
Correct. That's correct. Adley Rushman's agent is Dan Vertlieb.
Okay.
And Gunner's got Boris.
Yep.
So that's going to be cha-ching.
And then don't forget, after Gunner, you got Jackson. You're going to be all 3 year last 3 picks.
Could have 2 past Gunner. Right?
Was he? I thought he was 1. I thought it was Adley, Gunner, Jackson. Or is it Gunner, Adley, Jackson?
Yeah, I thought there was a gap.
Okay.
I thought, but you might be right. JC, we'll find out.
Thank you, sir.
Where we at? I don't even know where I'm at.
We still in spring training.
Well,
which I said, we'll be in and out of this, but then we got fish talk. You know what I'm saying? The good old country boys of the sideline junkies coming to you live.
Cleaning fish.
Cleaning fish, get them fish, baby.
Hey, can't get more country than this. Cleaning fish, talking baseball.
Yeehaw. Only thing I didn't do is put my little dip in my mouth. That's all.
Tim said Gunner was a 2nd round pick.
Nah, I think he was the 2nd pick.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. He was
1, 2 is what I thought too.
But we'll see. So Tim, they got Adley and Gunner in the same draft?
No way.
Okay. That's what he says. That's what he says. I believe him. If there's anybody that knows Baltimore, it's Tim.
Well,
he says they're the same draft, so I'm gonna go with
draft as Rushman.
Yep.
Got Honeycutt last year. Jesus Christ!
That's a steal.
Yeah, it was.
They got like 60 rounds.
I know, I see that.
More than that.
This is wrong. There's 24 here, so I found it.
But Adley's,
I found the list. Let me get to it.
That's crazy that he's a 2nd round pick because he's.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, he's not listed as a 1st round pick.
Think about that. So
damn.
I don't know how. I don't know. Baseball kills me because there's certain guys. I know you gotta worry about their draftability and all that stuff, but certain guys fall, and Gunner's one of them. Where I don't understand his fall.
Oh, hold on. These are first overalls. I'm thinking he's in the first round, man. I swear he is. All right. There's no sense dwelling on me trying to find this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to something else.
All right. Let's talk a little NBA. Popovich done for the season. Health is the problem. Looking at Greg Popovich, he's been with the Spurs. He's with the Spurs as an assistant, 88 to 92. He left and went to the Golden State Warriors from 92 to 94. And then he came back in 95, I believe, and took over in the front office with the Spurs. I'm sorry, 94 he came back and returned as the general manager and vice president. He was the one that traded Dennis Rodman to the Chicago Bulls. So, you know, if you want to be technical about it, Pop got 8 rings because he gave us 3. So, I mean, you know, that's cool.
Yeah, Henderson, real quick, Gunnar Henderson was the 42nd overall pick.
So that is second round.
Yep.
That is second round.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. I knew he knew.
Yeah.
He don't play that game of fishing stuff out there just to say it.
No, I'm not
Especially
saying he did.
No, I know you weren't. I'm just saying, like, when he says it, I give him a little
draft. That's amazing that they came out in the same draft.
Yeah.
Home run. Because I'm looking at 21. That's Cowser and Norby. I didn't know Norby had been around that long.
Didn't Norby get moved?
This is just a draft. The year we drafted.
Okay.
21.
I'll check that out because that's a me thing. Don't worry about that. That's not a show thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, KG. We sorry we interrupted you.
Japanese 22.
You guys are good.
Why
Tim
are
said
you
he
in black
Orioles fan forever.
Why are you in black and white? Like you like
I'm
that?
actually in color.
He trying to jam with his picture.
I don't know what it is, but you've been in that yeah. You know that TV that's on top of the color TV?
Of course I do. You put it on top of the floor model because it don't work right.
Yeah. That's the TV like you on right now. You just got some color just now. I don't know what happened, but before that you was
a little bit better.
I think it's the black and white picture. It's all good.
I think that's probably what it is. That a little bit better.
No, you good.
Put a little shame for me. You gotta represent for your pops. You know, when you're the son of John Shaft, you got to do that, baby.
I got you. Popovich done for the season.
Popovich, he took over as head coach in 96 and 97. He fired Bob Hill. He had Sean Elliott, Chuck Person, Dominique Wilkins, and they wound up getting the number 1 pick, which they drafted the greatest power forward in the history of basketball, in Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Then Ryder might not be cool with that, but
I know he not. But he went on to build a dynasty in the Spurs, winning championships. Dynasty. Winning championships in 99, 2003, 2005, 2007, and lastly in 2014. He's been named Coach of the Year 3 times, 2003, 12, and 14.
5 ships in 15 years. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Fuck the Spurs.
So
they was bad, motherfucker.
Looking at this,
back in the day, man. I'm sorry.
They were championship contenders every year.
And Pop been a big time coach on my list, man. I love Coach Popovich. KG, did you know he's got the longest coaching tenure in U.S. sports?
What we talking? Over 30 years?
29.
Yeah, because he took over in 96, 90. Well, he took over December 10, 1996.
Yeah.
And what year did they get Duncan?
Somebody said
97.
soccer coach that has more, a European coach that has more years, but the most by any U.S. coach. That's a long time. And did y'all know he played ball for the Air Force Academy?
Okay.
Played ball, Air Force. So I respect him for that. Been coaching since 1973, period. That's whew.
And he has 2 gold medals. He has a gold medal in 2020 in the Tokyo Games. Mm-hmm. He's an assistant coach in San Juan for the FIBA Americas Championship in 2003. Unfortunately, he was a part of that coaching staff with Larry Brown in 2004 that won bronze.
The LeBron's bronze.
Yeah, well, LeBron. See, everybody say that, but LeBron didn't even get a chance to play.
It's a bronze.
The young guys didn't because
Larry Brown. That's not his philosophy.
Coach K straightened it out, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But a real coach in there straightened that whole squad out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just find it funny that we bring up Popovich and we talk about how great it is. He had David Robinson and Tim Duncan. Like, what are we doing?
So
what are we doing? And it's ironic that he fired Brian Hill right before it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to always say that he was like the anti-Suge Knight because he wanted to be in the videos. He wanted to be he wanted to get the shine. So that's why he came down, because you got the 2 best, most dominant players in the league, and now you coach them. And the next year, what do you win? You win the championship in 2 years? I tell you, man. I don't know, man.
He been doing nothing but winning at San Antonio, man.
You can't help but win if you got Tim Duncan and 20.
Jimmy?
Yeah, Tim Duncan and David Robinson.
Good job drafting. They drafted these people.
But everybody want to cry when LA gets somebody. But San
Didn't
Antonio,
nobody think it was gonna be all that.
San Antonio get Wembanyama. They accidentally fall into Tim Duncan. I swear, man. I don't know, man.
How can you a trip, dude?
It
wasn't nobody's team but Pop's team for 22 years of winning records. His first 22 years, he did nothing but win. How do you not give Pop any credit? David Robinson.
Hey, man, I don't know, man.
That ain't Kool-Aid. That ain't orange juice. That's Haterade.
I'm about to debunk your myth.
What's my myth?
Now, they lost to the Jazz. Tim Duncan rookie year. They lost to the Jazz.
Karl Malone.
Well, the Jazz won. Then we know one other thing. The Jazz probably beat the Lakers on the way there, and Eddie Jones probably bitched out during the game. So that's why the Jazz ended up playing them anyway, first and foremost.
That's your Lakers.
Hey, it's not my fault. That's why Kobe, it's probably the year Kobe had to shoot the ball because Eddie Jones didn't man up in the crunch time. So it's all good.
Oh, yeah. Put that shit on.
Then the year they won the championship, they struggled against the Knicks. Even though they beat the Knicks 4-1, they struggled against the Knicks. The Knicks were the it team.
Yeah.
Nobody had San Antonio winning the championship that year. Everybody had the Spurs winning. Not the Spurs, I'm sorry. They had the Blazers winning in 99. But when they beat the Blazers, everybody started to take notice. Okay. So don't act up.
Don't act up now.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
Don't be acting up now.
If I get to be the GM, I get to pick the player and then decide I want to be the head coach after I know what the team going to look like. I mean, are we really giving them kudos for that?
What's wrong with that?
But hold on. Didn't Pat Riley do the same thing?
Yeah, that's why I like
twice.
I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead and get ugly with the player.
You tripping, dog.
Pat Riley did it twice and nobody batted an eye. So you mad that
No. Sorry, you didn't know me then.
So tell us, Midnight Rider, what is Popovich's legacy to you?
You know what?
I'll wait.
I'm gonna step down off of my pedestal here in this argument for this, and
okay,
I'm gonna be
Mr. Poet.
Say that again.
Step off your pedestal, Poet.
All right, I appreciate that, but it says Midnight Rider, they're not Fat Poet, so that's just two different things, two different personas. But
Midnight Fat Poet. That's when you,
You know,
do your
seriously.
shit. That's when you do your poet stuff after midnight. So
That's why it's called
okay,
that's why it's called the Insomnia series. But let's get back to things.
I know. I'm up to date on that series.
No, seriously, I think Popovich is a great coach. I just didn't like how he started there. And if you knew me when LeBron and them first formed the A team or
Big
their version of Voltron or whatever, I always thought that Pat Riley would pull another move and come down and tell Eric Spoelstra, I got this, and take over. Because I thought he was a mercenary too.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of this, I think Popovich won with some great talent. I mean, you know, you got Boris Diaw, you had Manu Ginobili,
Tony Parker,
and those guys. I think he did a great job coaching that team and cultivating it into something special. I just didn't like the way he got there. I thought he kind of snaked his way in and took the glory. But I mean, that's just
the boss. Me. Why not?
That's just me.
Shit.
I hate San Antonio, so it doesn't matter. You know, and Chuck said they got some big women in San Antonio. I don't know. I ain't never been. They like
big girls. Big girl named 11. But now I don't like or dislike San Antonio. I'm just giving props where props are due, in my opinion.
Oh, I know.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be real with you.
Oh shit.
When you talk about greatest coaches of all time, of course you're going to talk about the great Red Auerbach. You're going to talk about Phil Jackson. You're going to talk about Greg Popovich. These are greatest coaches of all time. You're going to talk about even Larry Brown's in that conversation. For all his faults, Larry Brown is one of the greatest coaches. You're going to talk Dr. Jack Ramsey. You're going to talk Pat Riley, you know, who led 3 franchises to prominence. I wish he could have led all 3. Well, he led 2 out of the 3 to championships. But you can't deny Greg Popovich being one of the greatest coaches of all time. You cannot deny that, not one bit, not one iota. Nope. And that's, if you like him or not, you gotta give credit where credit is due. That's like me saying that Jimmy Johnson is not a great head coach because he coached the Cowboys. Nah, Jimmy Johnson is one of the greatest head coaches.
Yep. And I heard you. Did you say a list of greatest coaches? I didn't hear you say Jack Carr. Oh, you must have been talking NBA. All right, NBA.
You got to throw Jack Carr in there. Jack Carr is one of the greatest coaches. Jack Carr had you run through a brick wall.
All right, thank you. I like ballers like that.
But I looking at this, just looking at his overall career, and let me go back to.
He got the most wins.
Let's look at his overall. Now remember, he had to take some time off before.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he's still behind Nelly.
Oh.
He got 1,388 career wins. Nope, that is the record. He does have a record. He's past Nelly. He passed Nelly.
I thought he was up there.
Yeah, 1,388 wins and only 821 losses. And the majority of his losses have come since 2017, the 2017-2018 season. Because he lost 35, 34, 39, 39, 48, 60, and 60.
Yeah.
And they've lost 60 this year.
I think that's when his 22-year winning streak broke.
Mm-hmm.
17, I think.
Here's what's crazy. Before the 2017-2018 season, the most losses he had in a season as a head coach.
What, 18?
I see 32 in 2009, 2010. And they went to the conference semis with that team. That's the most losses he had was 32.
Damn.
And they called that was 50 and 32 being a bad year or a bad season. I'll take that any year.
Yep.
I'll take 50 and 32. 50 wins, period. Man, let me tell you how low the ceiling is for 50 wins for certain teams. It was a few years ago. Me and the boss BJ had a bet that the Wizards will win 50 games. He was like, nah, they're not going to win. I was like, B, they're going to win 50 games. This team has 50 game talent. They can win 50 games. That's a low ceiling. You know how many games the Wizards won that year?
48.
49. And the only reason why they won, they had 5 chances to win 50 and lost all 5 of them. I said, y'all got to be the dumbest, most dysfunctional franchise. But what I'm saying is the bar is low when it comes to 50. Because you got teams that come out and they can play and they can sneeze their way into 60. Easy.
You're not sneezing your way into 60. Let's not do that. Let's not say that. That's a little bit.
Cleveland's going to sneeze their way into 60 this year.
Okay.
60? Yeah, I'm telling you, man. They're getting ready to fold in the second half. They're gonna fold like a lawn chair. Watch, like a banquet hall chair. Fold them up.
They on a 6. Cleveland's on a 6-game winning streak. They're 46 and 10. They got 14 games to win 60. Cleveland will win 60 this year. They're 31-7 at home. They're 31-7 in the conference, 26-4 at home, and 20-6 on the road. These dudes do nothing but win. They will win 60. Blue Magic guarantee.
What's their record right now?
And I guarantee it.
Say that one more time.
Right now?
Their record right now is 46-10.
Damn.
Now write this down.
14-12 down the stretch.
How many games they play? 80?
82.
82. Now, and they're on a 6-game win streak right now. Write this down. Today's date is Sunday, February 23rd. The time is 12:20 Eastern Standard Time. So everybody listening, note this down. The big guy KG gives you the Blue Magic guarantee that the Cleveland Cavaliers will win 60 games this year. That's only 14 more wins out of how many games? What?
Probably 24 or 25 right now.
They got a tough schedule
14
coming
wins.
now. They got Memphis today. They got Orlando Tuesday. They got Boston on Friday. 3 losses right there. Portland ain't no pushovers. The Bulls, they beat the Bulls. They'll beat the Heat. They'll beat the piss out of the Hornets. Bucks, Nets, Grizzlies again. I mean,
y'all could put a cheesesteak on it.
A cheesesteak on 60?
I mean, it's between y'all two. I mean, you tell me.
I already owe the Midnight Rider one. I still ain't gave him his yet.
Well, good.
17. How much games are left?
We probably were talking about 24, 23.
25. Yeah, it's not that many. We're in the 20s. Because it ain't like it used to be where you have the All-Star break.
I throw a cheesesteak on it. I throw a cheesesteak on it, KG.
All right, there it is.
All right.
And that's a Blue Magic guarantee and a cheesesteak. I stand by it. I guarantee it.
I mean, they got to have a bad stretch for me to win. They got to have a bad stretch, and I just think it's coming. Let's see how they do these 3 games coming up. I bet they don't get 2 wins.
Couple of comments real quick. Jack Wagner said it's the 5 championships to me. Pop is a great coach. San Antonio is so damn hot. You don't want to go there if you don't like being hot.
Yeah.
Smartest thing he said is Red. Of course, Red Auerbach, in my opinion, has to be one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach of all time. Everybody say Phil Jackson. Like, nah, Red did it first. And Red did it organically. But I think Red transcends coaching because as an executive, he had a hand.
Red Auerbach gonna sit with me for a little while.
The first 16. He got a cigar in his hand too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Red had
autographed by Red too.
Nice.
I told you he sat in front of me at the Capitol Center.
He had a hand in 16 championships. And I bet if we dug down and got the layers of it, he'll probably have a hand. Nope, 17 championships he had a hand in. He had a hand in the first 17. But I bet if we dig down the layers, he probably had a hand in 18 somehow, some way too. Something that he did years prior. So, but I got to give Red number one. I got to put Lenny Wilkens in there. Lenny Wilkens is another one. He's very underrated, but I got to put Lenny Wilkens in there. There's so many. Earl Lawrence said true, but fuck Jimmy Johnson.
I know we're not putting Lenny Wilkens in the top 5 of coaches or anything like that, are we?
We could do that.
I think he should be in top 10, if not top 5, top 10.
All right, that's a pen and a conversation. Whoever's taking notes, that's the pen conversation.
I gotta list a pen. Lenny Wilkens.
That's why we got the summer, because we can go back.
Jack Wagner said Popovich legacy. Cleveland is playing good. Hopefully they can stay healthy. I hope so.
True that.
And that was crazy. Couldn't believe we were sitting in front of Red Auerbach. Yeah, I would have died for that, man. Somebody told a story one time. And of course, I know where it was from. It was out of Sports Illustrated. They were talking. It was a Sports Illustrated from 1988 that I had in my possession. And they were sitting courtside at a Georgetown game. Now, Red Auerbach, John Thompson, very, very close. Very, very close. John Thompson used to ride up from D.C. up to, I think it was Maine, with Red Auerbach in the summers to work up there. And he learned basketball with Red. He wound up getting Big John into Providence when he left Carroll. Was it Carroll?
Yes, it is Carroll.
Yeah,
Don't do
Carroll.
that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't disrespect the legacy, baby.
I'm not.
One of the greatest high school basketball.
It probably the greatest high school basketball team ever in DC.
Thank you.
Probably in the area. Only other team that I put up
Only
against
other
them
team is Dunbar.
Yeah, Dunbar in Baltimore, the Poets. But he was sitting courtside at the Georgetown game, and he was talking about how to use Dikembe Mutombo and Alonzo Mourning on the front line to be successful. And he was actually watching the game, giving pointers to people sitting around him. That's what Red would do. He would talk
basketball all the time.
They say when he would go out after games, because him being in DC, graduated from Georgetown, he would be in the restaurant and he would have a booth. He would sit in the middle of the booth and everybody would surround him and he would sit there and talk nothing but ball.
Mm-hmm.
And all you had to do was be a sponge. That's it.
Yeah, my buddy Nick Catucci's dad, he's a union guy with the telephone union, communication union, and he would meet with Red Auerbach quite often. We loved talking to him about his stories with Red, but that was something. He said the same thing. He said it's like E.F. Hutton, man. When Red's talking, everybody just listening,
And that's when you got a great talking like that, man. Mm-hmm. I always said that. I said if I could sit in a room with him, I said it was him, John Thompson, Jack Ramsey. I said I probably never leave that room. I said if I could just have a dinner with those guys, I probably never leave. I don't know how much eating I would do. I probably never leave.
Wait, hold on. What? Say that 3 again.
Dr. Jack Ramsey, John Thompson, and Red Auerbach.
I'm a little disappointed.
Why are you disappointed now?
Because you love you some Hubie Brown.
I do love you.
The fact that Hubie's not in the list.
But I had to choose 3. And those are 3
we never
that
said
I can't
3.
get.
We never said 3.
No, you didn't say 3, but at the time the criteria was 3
Okay,
on
I
the
didn't know
question that
that.
I was asked.
Okay, just
But
curious.
if I could throw Hubie in there, of course I throw Hubie in there. But what I'd
Maybe
really like to
not
do is I like to catch Hubie in New York and take Hubie to dinner now, because I'm older now,
Well, maybe you're just not a big
and I
Hubie
would
Brown
cherish
fan.
it more.
That might be it. You might not just be a Hubie Brown fan like you say you are.
Wow. Okay.
KD, did you ever see the videos that Red made with Pistol Pete?
Yeah.
Those are amazing.
Yes, sir. It was this one me and my boy D'Angelo. It was I showed him the video, and Pistol Pete was doing the wrist pass where he would bounce past it, but it would bounce back the opposite direction.
Oh.
And he was like, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And I was like, "We got to do it." And we went to the court and we worked on that for 3 days. And then we pulled it out in the one game at the gym. Coming down, had a man on the right. He went to bounce past it and he flipped it back, caught him in stride, laid it right in. I was like, "Oh my God, it worked."
Yeah, we said whoop whoop back.
Jack Wagner said Nick's dad was president of the CWA. Uh-oh.
You good?
Did I lose? Oh, that's Jack that's frozen.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
right.
mid he.
Mid he. Channing Frye's comments on nostalgia. Let me. I'm gonna pull it up first.
I want you to go first.
Okay. Let me go ahead and play it. That way everybody can. I don't have to. Where's that? Here you go.
We don't own the rights to this material. This is off of a podcast that we have no rights to, but we're using just for content purposes and content purposes only.
Only. All right, here we
only
go.
For the one time in the world, Craig.
NBA. 90s basketball, Michael Jordan and Kobe, was not as clean as y'all think it was. Y'all forget that Jordan left the league for 2 years. Y'all forget that Kobe, rest in peace, quit on his team in the playoffs and did not shoot the basketball. So all this Kobe, Jordan, oh, he's not this, he's not that, that is propaganda. Every great player, whether that's Ant, Wemby, Bron, Steph, this, that. You know they compare him to? A motherfucker 40 years ago. The rules weren't even the same. You're not really watching help side defense. Who's doing this? What is this rule? What is that rule? You're not watching. Nobody celebrates these new people. So why the fuck would anybody want to be the face of this league? We're going to get shitted on every network for not being somebody from 40 fucking years ago. It's ridiculous. It is unfair. Bron is one of the greatest players ever to play. Stephen Curry is one of the greatest players ever to play. Giannis is one of the great. Jokic. And you know what we do? We talk about fucking Michael Jordan. All this superstar era shit is over. The card cap called the second apron, it's over. Teams are going to take over.
I think he's arguing two different points, but I digress. Go ahead, KJ.
I'm going to say this. It's a couple of things that I had questions about listening to him rant. I don't remember a time in the playoffs where Kobe quit on this team. So somebody can.
He's talking about Game 5 against Phoenix, where he played the second half as a distributor and not as a shooter. I know exactly what game he's talking about.
I know what he's talking about.
So, but he didn't quit.
He just didn't take a shot. He was a passer because he was trying to make a point back to Phil about why he was shooting the ball so much.
But that's not quitting. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't they win that game?
No, we didn't. We were up 2-1 and lost the last two to Phoenix.
Okay, that was 5-game series.
Yeah, that's back in that era.
Okay. I don't. Okay. Well, okay. Thank you for clarifying that because
no, because that's the year. If you remember correctly, he hits the late shot. I think in Game 1, that's when he does the thing where I think he pulls the jersey over his chest and is on the thing. And then I think they win game 3, lose 4 and 5, but 5 was after game 4. Kobe and Phil kind of got into it, and that's when you had the game 5 second half where he kind of just was like, all right, you want me to win with Smush Parker and the rest of those boys, then let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Smush Parker still crying out all these years. I was your coworker. Why did you never talk to me? He didn't have to talk to you.
Well, Byron Scott in the interview, before I derail us too far, Byron Scott, you said he and Ed, I think his name is Hardy, the assistant coach for the Lakers. They talked about Kobe, and the problem that Kobe had was, if I'm out here doing all this work, but you show up 10 minutes before practice, you show up 5 minutes before this, and you expect, and you leave right after practice, how much work are you actually putting into your game? Why I got to pass you the ball if you're not even working to make yourself better? And that was the whole part of Kobe's philosophy and why he was so hard on guys.
I remember that.
And I agree with that. If I'm putting in the work when you not, you want to go to the club when I'm trying to put in work. Yeah. Nah, man. I understand that. I understand that 100%. Now, here's my thing with Channing Frye. You talk about them glorifying. I just had a whole conversation with my boy D, and we were talking over on Instagram because he was talking about the same thing, and I was like, he said he loves the Blazers, and he thought that those Damon Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace Blazers were the best. He said he went back and looked at it, and they were just mediocre. And I'm like, the game has changed. What excites people now is not what excited people back then. Number one. Now the game is all about no ball movement, come down, dribble, 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 shoot a three. That's what the game is now. It's not no ball movement. The game is so stagnant now. Nobody moves the ball anymore. Any of that. Now, take it back to the 90s and the early 2000s. People were still comparing the Shaqs to Chamberlain, Russell, Walton. Those were the bigs that he was compared to. Nobody ever complained. Michael Jordan was compared to Dr. J. He was compared to Iceman. He was compared, even though he did play with Iceman, he played against Dr. J. He was compared to Elgin Baylor. Point guards were compared to, John Stockton was compared to Bob Cousy.
Jerry West.
Jerry West. These are things, this is what happens. Every generation is compared to the generation before it, and sometimes 2 generations before it. But you also have to realize nobody has a work ethic anymore. These guys, the guys
let's steer away from nobody.
Some do. Some do. JT works hard.
Some people have
that. He worked with Mama.
Work ethic.
I'll go with that.
These guys have it way better. And that's another thing that people don't realize. When you make the game easier, you're supposed to get better. Every generation is supposed to be better than the last. And this generation is more athletically skilled because they have more in the bag as far as training goes. You have team masseuses and nutritionists and things like that. You fly private. You don't fly commercial. So you have all these amenities. So you're supposed to be better. You're making more money. You're driving the league even more. Great. The thing is, people long for a product that was once great. And this is something I've told my wife. I've told my kids. It's hard for me to explain to you how it used to be. I would rather pick you up and take you back to how it used to be so you can see what it was. Now, looking at games, like somebody went and, I looked at Michael Jordan's games. He can't go left. How many games you look at? Well, I looked at 3 games. 3 games over a career is nothing. So it was a dude that pulled up every play where Michael Jordan went left and scored.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but I was gonna say that was if you remember the Kenny Smith interview, Kenny Smith said when Mike came to Carolina, yeah.
Isaiah Thomas said the same thing. He said that was the Jordan rules. Force him left. If he's on the right wing, force him left. Make him get rid of the ball. And what he did, he started learning how to go left. He worked on his game and started working on how to go left. People talk about Scottie Pippen talking all this stuff about how he would guard LeBron. Scottie Pippen was one of the best defenders in daggone NBA history. So was Dennis Rodman. But if you know that a prime Scottie Pippen, and I'm not saying this because Scottie was a bull and this, no, I'm saying this is true. I know a prime Scottie Pippen will be a problem for LeBron. Go ahead, Midnight Rider.
I'm going to say one thing real quick, and then it's back to you. Well, I think you're kind of proving the point that Channing Frye is making. And I'm going to sit back, and I'm going to take this off it.
Okay. I'm proving the point, but what I'm saying is I'm comparing. And that's always the comparison. They want to say LeBron James is the greatest small forward of all time, but you got to put him, and people say, well, when you call somebody an all-time great, you want to put it in a box like this, and you want to say from now, since the 2000s, so the last 25 years, LeBron's the greatest small forward of all time. Is he really? When you say all time, that's the beginning of time. 1946 is when the BAA started. That's when the NBA starts. So from there to 2025, that's what you have to work with when you talk about all-time greats. If you don't like that people can pull people out that, well, the game's different. The game's different than it was different 10 years ago. You got teams coming out shooting 30 to 40 to 53s a game. Just a couple of months ago, the Bulls and somebody else combined for I think they were 7 for 103 in threes.
Something a little lower than that, but yeah, it was bad.
But I mean, both teams took over 53s. Nobody has a mid-range game anymore. The 3-level score is dead. The mid-range game is dead. Some of us don't want to see a product where you shoot threes every possession. So yes, we go back to the 80s. We go back to the 90s. We go back to the 2000s where they move the ball. I don't want to see players traveling every time they on a fast break. You take 2 bounces and you take 4 steps to take off and dunk. That's not appealing to me. Go ahead, Jack.
KG, this from Channing Frye was said to piss old heads off. Straight up. You talk the GOAT story in any sport, you're going to hear it, and you're going to hear different opinions on who's the GOAT. I've come to the conclusion after discussing this with my nephew and a few other people, you always hear a GOAT story, no matter where you go. And it's got to be generational because the game changes from generation to generation. We're seeing changes. Hell, they used to shoot into a peach basket when it started. Look at us now. We got rims with nets. You know what I'm saying? We got 3-pointers. We got no zone. Oh, no. NBA got zone defense back now or no? Yeah.
Now they do.
There's rule changes all across the board. Every generation. So, I mean, you go Wilt. You can say Bill Russell. You can say Jabbar. You can say Magic, Bird, Mike, Kobe, LeBron. I think they're all, Magic, Bird, and Mike overlap pretty much with Jabbar too, but I think they're all GOATs of their era or generation, however you want to say it. I know everybody wants to get down to the one, right, Midnight Rider? They want to know who the one is.
There you go.
And it's hard, man, when you got, as you say, so many years of a sport to name one person. It's hard. I mean, mine's always going to be Mike because I've seen Mike's whole career. seen LeBron's whole long career too. I mean, longevity is amazing that LeBron is still in as great shape as he is at 40 years old. But this here was just made to piss off old heads, old basketball heads that, you know, like their guy, Mike or you know, whoever it might have been, Magic. So I don't think it's nothing to hold on to, nothing to be upset about. It's just a comment to piss people off. He knew what he was doing, and I do think he went a little bit two ways, as Midnight Rider said. Kind of. So, yeah, the GOAT discussion, you got to do it generational. There's no other way. Now, if you're doing top 10, that's different. That's different. Hard to do, but it's different than saying, tell me who your GOAT is. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I think you just said it the best way I could have said it. Is I think he did some of this just to get attention because Shannon Fry has kind of fallen off the map a little bit in terms of his broadcasting career. I think it's also a smart thing to do because sometimes the squeaky wheel needs some oil. And what you got to complain about is the comparison back. You know, there was conversation where, oh, this guy doesn't play every night, you know, and that's their problem. The problem isn't, it's not, I think what they don't understand is we're not mad at you. We don't like the way you play basketball, but the problem we have is you don't like playing basketball. And you show us that by wanting a night off here, a night off there. You know, you can't play in this ball game because it's 32 minutes after the ball game before. You don't want to be double, especially in one-on-ones, or I mean, in rec ball, because while we doubling here, like it's the whininess of what y'all do or what this generation is doing that's annoying us. It's not like, oh, you're not miking them. It's the way you're showing us. We got to do Joel Embiid telling us he can't play in back-to-backs. Dog, what?
He ain't play at all last night.
You got the most relaxed schedule in basketball history, and y'all still complaining and crying about things. And then it's like, oh, so nobody wants to be the GOAT of this league. If you call yourself or you are termed the GOAT of this league, you're going to get your love. LeBron gets his love. I don't know why we act like LeBron's not getting his love. I don't know why he's acting like Steph doesn't get love when they call Steph the greatest shooter, which I still don't understand because I saw a man from French Lick, Indiana named Larry Joe Bird. So I don't get this. You know what I'm saying? They talk about, oh, he shoots the ball from places that Larry didn't shoot. Okay. Larry couldn't shoot it from there because the league didn't allow it or the coaches didn't allow it. That's when we cross generations. The last thing I got to say about Shannon Fry is job well done, sir. You played the hill. You kicked the Hornets' nest, and the Hornets came after you.
Yup.
And with that, I say good job.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I remember when Shaq was talking about before his career was over, he was talking about he was the most dominant player ever to play in the NBA. And I always disagreed with that. I said, I'm the most dominant player in the NBA will always be Wilt Chamberlain. Oh, well, Wilt played against guys that were a foot. I don't care what did he control that? Did he say I only want to play against these guys? He played against the competition he was given. This dude had 6 years of scoring 50 points or more in a game. He averaged 50 and 25 for a season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man. You mean to tell me this is not greatness right here? The 1962 MVP voting is not greatness?
I knew. God dang.
Look at that.
God,
Look at that.
If it ain't Rod Strickland, is this?
That's your
Look
boy.
at
That's your
Look at
boy,
that.
young.
Look at that.
That's your boy, Midnight Rider.
Look at that.
Oh,
Rabbit had 38 and 18. That's not
great.
greatness.
You gotta tell them who Rabbit is, dog. You
I'm
can't
sorry, Elgin Baylor. To those that are uninitiated, he's not known as that in the DMV. He's known as Rabbit. Probably one of him, Dave Bing, and Lynn Bias are the top 3 to ever come out of DC, Maryland area.
Rabbit.
And if I add in Virginia, that's different because I got a lot of players that came out of Virginia. But look at that. That right there, greatness, man. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone. Let's get to this last topic so we can get out of here. Question of the night. Well, it's question of the day. Who is that obscure player you fell in love with? You could have fell in love with him as an adult, fell in love with him as a kid, but that obscure player that nobody else thinks is good, that you will defend tooth and nail against any slander.
Oh, I forgot about this one.
Oh, while are you thinking about that? Let me get to these comments. I forgot about that.
Please
Jack
do.
Wagner said MJ was the greatest and always will be. MJ had 2 3-peats. Has 2 3-peats. Greatest player ever. Earl Lawrence said MJ for me. Jack Wagner said, how would the matchup go between Shaq and Wilt? In your opinion, KG? This is how it would go, Jack. Wilt would come to center court. Shaq would come to center court. He would look at Shaq. He would shake Shaq's hand. And he would say, hi, Shaquille. My name is Wilt. I'm going to block your first 9 shots. That's it. That's it. Right. That's all. Now, that's a true story between him and Walt Bellamy. Said Walt Bellamy came up to him before the tip and said, how you doing, Mr. Chamberlain? My name's Walt Bellamy. I'm a big fan of yours. He said, how you doing, Walter? You won't get a shot off in the first half. Said he blocked his first 9 shots in the first half. Said after when they came out for the second half, said he came down court and he told Walt Bellamy, he said, now you can score. Like, is that not dominance?
Well, I think since we want to talk about dominance real quick before we get into our topic, I think the greatest conversation ever had was between Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan. And Wilt Chamberlain says to him, Michael tells Wilt how great he is. And Wilt says to him, just remember one thing, son. They made rules to make the game harder for me to succeed. They made rules to make it easier for you. You tell me who had the harder path. That always sticks with me as one of the comments in that conversation. And see, can't say you ain't know I had that in that bag. Yeah.
That bag.
Oh, I know about the conversation. I remember when it
happened. You do, but you didn't expect me to say the conversation. Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll start this. I'll start this obscure player thing. But go ahead and read Jack's comment.
Jack said, just don't see it happening. Sounds good, but not happening. Shaq would dunk the first 9 shots. No, he won't. You got to remember, Wilt was tall and strong, and he was strong as an ox. So
there's a guy. There's a guy. One of my most obscure players that I always love, and I'm gonna do it from a Redskins standpoint. My first guy is Nick Giaquinto. You could have told me that Nick Giaquinto wasn't the man when I was a little kid. It seemed like every third down this team needed, if we weren't throwing the ball to James Arthur Monk, it was going to Nick Giaquinto. So from that standpoint, he's one on my list. My number 2, and I know a lot of people aren't going to remember this name. Some will, but Terrell Brandon, point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was my guy. I love me some him, man. That was my dude. If we got an argument, we talk about point guards. I used to always talk about Terrell Brandon in that regard. And then one of the most recent ones, I don't know if it's not one of my current ones, but the most recent was Shannon Brown. I love Shannon Brown. I remember him from the dunk contest going head-to-head with LeBron, coming out of the McDonald's All-American Classic. Of course, he went to Michigan State. Need I say more? And then his career in LA, man, just whoo. I mean, the infamous block on the chase down where he pins the dude's shot to the backboard. Man, Shannon Brown was my guy. I'd argue with you every which way about him, but he was a guy that I liked. And I think the most recent guy that I was in love with before everybody else is Austin Reeves. Like I said it at first jokingly about him, but yeah, like his year 2, I was like, yeah, Austin Reeves is my point guard. That's my point guard. That's my point guard.
That's you, huh?
That's my 4.
Oh, how many we doing?
You can do whatever you want. I knew what I had, and I wanted to give people times.
Thank you very much. I got two right here off the top of my head because I lost my list, and I still bouncing a few more around, but local guy, and you couldn't tell me anything. I'm not saying he was a scrub. I'm not saying he was an all-star, but Thurl Bailey. You know, he's from my high school, so I'm going to be sweating him. You know what I'm saying? Sweat monster. I was just all about Thurl Bailey back in the day. Wanted to hurry up because you never heard about their game on the news because it was usually a late game. So I had to wait to get that Washington Post the next day to see if they won. You know what I'm saying? So I remember following Thurl at North Carolina State and in Utah where he played his whole career. So Thurl Bailey's one of my guys. And I got another guy that's local as well. Played over at I think he played at Spalding. I think. Where Rudy Gay, where did he play, Midnight Rider?
High school, I don't remember. I know he's a UConn guy, but I know he's a Baltimore guy.
I think he played at Spalding, I thought.
Go ahead and continue your analysis. I'll give you a hit back.
But yeah, Rudy Gay, watched him play in high school. Seen him at UConn. He was highly touted coming out of high school, going to UConn, and didn't disappoint. I thought he had a decent NBA career. That's my two guys right now. I may throw somebody in. KG might shake something up in my head, and I might remember somebody else I was thinking about. But two local guys right now: Thurl Bailey and Rudy Gay.
And you're correct. He did go to Archbishop Spalding.
Spalding, yeah, he was all conference, all state, all everything when he came out of there, man. Silky jumper.
Come on, KG, give us the list of 20.
Yeah, give us your list. Because everybody you like is obscure. My bad, KG. I love you, baby.
I'm glad I wasn't drinking anything just now. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a good one. One day we're going to spit some drink on our computers. Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Mute monster.
I didn't even know I muted myself. Damn,
We almost made it through the show, man. We got to one day do a non-mute show.
College basketball, I don't know why, but Dana Dingle, I used to defend Dana Dingle to the death when he was at UMass. I would fight you if you said anything wrong about Dana Dingle.
He wore number 3, right? Or something like that.
Who you talking about?
Yeah, he was on that team with my man Lou Rowe. That's another guy. He said Dana Dingle. I think he's a B-more kid too.
I don't know that cat.
That's the whole point. Now when it comes to, I got quite a few, but Lee Becton out of Notre Dame, Lee Becton, Ray Zellers, Autry Denson. I thought that they were going to be like, I thought Ray Zellers was going to be like one of the best fullbacks to come in the league, and nobody was going to be able to block better than him. Lee Becton was going to be a Hall of Famer. Autry Denson was going to be like 10,000 yard rusher in the NFL. Obviously, these things never happen. You know, I forget where Lee Becton got drafted. I know Ray Zellers went to the Saints. Autry Denson went to Miami and played like 2 seasons, and he was done. But these guys, like, I thought that they were the greatest at their position coming out of Notre Dame.
I got another one now.
Yeah, I got some more too.
Old school, not obscure because most people know his name now, but we're talking early 90s. I saw a video of Max McGee and I became a Max McGee fan, even though I never seen him play live.
Okay.
But I learned how to catch passes thrown behind me with one hand because I watched Max McGee, and I would go outside and practice that. Throw the ball behind me. Let me see if I can catch it. So another NFL player was Kenneth Davis from the Buffalo Bills. Most people don't remember him, but he was Thurman Thomas's backup.
Number 23.
Yep.
Yep.
Jay Buhner and Tino Martinez. Most people, if you watch the Seattle Mariners, you knew Jay Buhner hit 4. Griffey hit 3, Buhner hit 4. I think Tino hit 5. So I think that was your 3, 4, 5 lineup with Seattle, I think. And I was a big Tino Martinez fan when he was in Seattle. And then when he came to New York, I was really, really happy. I was super happy about that. He came to New York because Tino and Edgar Martinez were my guys in Seattle. But those are my obscure players. NBA, Scott Williams. I was a big Scott Williams and Cliff Levingston fan in the early 90s.
Huh.
The boss BJ checking in. He said Jeremy Roenick. Yeah, he used to love JR.
What's up, B?
He used to kill me with Jeremy Roenick on what was that? NHL, like it was one of the NHL games we used to play. He used to kill me with Jeremy Roenick with the Flyers, I believe.
I got another one. And he was running with what was that tour they had going? He was one of the best playground ballers ever. He was running with M1, I think. Rayford Alston.
Yeah.
Skip to Malou.
I enjoyed watching him play. Never seen him live. But yeah, I think he ended up getting on with several teams in his career.
He played in Milwaukee for a minute.
I think he got at least, I think he might have got 10 years, 8 maybe.
He had a decent career.
Dips. Yeah. Thought it would have been more, but I guess they didn't have a jumper. Like that guy, the professor. I like him too. He on my video favorites. Professor. He's still getting down doing freaky moves, man. Y'all know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I got him. And now today player, that boy from Houston. How you say it? Sengun,
yeah.
He, was obscure, but he's having a breakout season this year. And I think you can have him. And then to go back in the day, this will be 5 for me and I'll be done. Dan Issel, man. He was a scoring leader and everything, but he was in a bad market, especially back then. So Dan Issel is my last dude. I felt he was more than what people gave him credit for. That's back when Denver used to have them games in the 140s and stuff, man, with no 3-point line. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Dan Issel, Nicky Vanderway, Alex English, George Gervin. They was just some scoring fools back then.
David Thompson.
You put a quarter on the backboard, top of the backboard, David Thompson jump up there, get the quarter, leave you 2 dimes and a nickel. Yes, sir.
The only other person I want to add is one of my favorites. Is a point guard from North Carolina. He wore number 5. He's from New York.
Black?
Mr. Ed Cota.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Cota was Ed Cota could throw a oop to anybody. It seemed like he woke up throwing oops.
It seemed like he went to Carolina for 8 years, though, man. Right? Didn't it?
It felt like it. It felt like he was there. And what's your boy, Duhon?
Bangkok was the same way.
Duhon was at Duke forever.
Yeah.
It's funny how we even because I bet you can name a couple guys that seem like they were there forever for you. Like I felt like JJ Redick was there forever.
Well, that's how it is when you start as a freshman. It feels like 10 years.
Yeah. Ooh. If you don't mind, you just go through
What's Earl?
Earl
What you
Lawrence.
talking about, Earl? My man only.
He
What
said,
you talking
"What's
about?
up?
Oh, Andy.
What's up, Jack? My man Andy."
What's up, Andy? Andy, that's Earl's stepson, man. Andy's cool. He works out.
Man.
He works at the gym.
Now I like this one. Jack Wagner says, I used to like David Wingate from Georgetown and Reggie Williams. I think playing with Patrick was the highlight of their career. I actually have a story.
Reggie done something important.
We were down. So this is early 80s. I'm probably 6 or 7, and we're at Phillips Seafood. And we're walking through. And as we're walking through, I see David Wingate at a table with a date or with somebody. So we sit down, and my dad's across the table from me, and I look at him, and I was like, I asked to get up from the table. So I go around and I whisper my dad's ear. I was like, hey, that's David Wingate. Do you think he'd give me an autograph or he'd be upset? And he was like, John has taught them that this is going to happen. So go ahead, just be cordial. Like, say, excuse me. Like, would you mind or do you mind?
A little kid, man. It's probably
And
went
he
well.
was like, and he'll sign it for you. So lo and behold, I walk over. I like get real close to him. I say, hey, Mr. Wingate, I know you're at dinner. I apologize for interrupting you. Do you mind signing me an autograph? I think I used a napkin. And
I did that many times.
And he signed it for me. And then I just walked away real quick. Like, didn't try to make a scene about it. And had the biggest grin on my face. And that's how that night went. And then whatever my little garnish was, I used to always plant that thing that was going to grow. I planted in the yard, and yeah, good to go, baby.
I thought Wingate was gonna excel and be a star in Philadelphia, man. I really did. Didn't work.
I always thought he was going to be a role player.
I thought he was definitely going to be a shooter. I mean, he was going to be a star as a shooter.
Right, I got you.
But yeah.
I mean, but you know what? I did not think this too far off topic, but you'll be amazed at the number of guys that, like, if you ever take a trip down the list of players that scored 50 points in a ball game, and the names, the obscure names that you'll see on that list, but it's all because these guys are all scorers. They've scored all their lives. Then they get forced into roles when they get to the NBA, and you got to fit in a certain role. Like I said this before on the show, Patrick Beverley averaged 34 points at one point in his life. Now he's a defender. Like, the only way he can get on the court is if he defends.
You can look at it that way in Boston with Peyton Pritchard. You figure, I mean, he's been a baller and a winner his whole career. And then he comes in Boston and he's coming off the bench. But when they give him green light, man, Peyton Pritchard can put up 30.
Yeah.
So there's several other players in the league like that too.
I know this may come as a shock to you guys, but you know, Dennis Rodman was a scorer in college too.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose not to score. Yeah. When he got to the league now, granted, I think his best season was like 11 points, but he chose to be a defender. And a lot of people say, well, he shouldn't be a Hall of Famer because he's not. All he did was rebound. No, he did more than that. He did the intangibles, but he could score if he wanted to. That's the crazy part.
Let's not say
if I want to.
Let's not say want to. I think he wasn't given the light. Like, he wasn't. If he had a green light, it wasn't green. He probably had a yellow light. You know what I'm saying? He might have had a red, but it wasn't green. It wasn't green.
Nah, I might have had the red, Craig.
Yeah, you know.
I don't think Daly would have had a problem if he scored.
Yeah, man, when he said he wanted that ball out of Isaiah's hands and Dumas' hands.
But when he said he wanted to focus on defense and coming into that 89-90 season, he's like, I'm going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He came in training camp and he said that. That's why he was so emotional when they gave him Defensive Player of the Year, because he had earned it. He said he wanted to go out and do it, and he went out and did it. And he was emotional, and he should have been. That was true devotion, man. Like, I'm a huge Dennis Rodman fan anyway. I'm a Dennis Keith Rodman is not obscure, but good grief. I'll defend him to the death.
With Dennis Rodman, man, he was entertainment. He was entertaining. I remember, Saturday or Sunday or something, they got the game of the week on, and if it's Detroit or when he was with Chicago, you turn the TV on, got to see what Rodman's tripping about. What color's his hair today? What kind of haircut does he have? What colors? Got his fingernails painted. You used to always have to see what Dennis Rodman was going to do, and his antics during the game, I found entertaining, even though sometimes there was a trip. But Rodman was entertainment. People turn TV on to see him at times.
Since we just came off of the Four Nations, there was a guy. Here's a guy. He used to play for the New York Rangers. His name was Esa Tikkanen. He is one of my favorite hockey players since you brought up Dennis Rodman. He was one of those guys that if he played on your team, you loved him. If he played on the other team, you hated him, probably wanted to fight him. I think he also wore the number 10 too, which might have been another key to him being liked by me. But
that's how it was. That's how it was playing ball against Louis, our guest on the passenger seat. Was that last week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Brian.
When we played against Louis and his Tidersville team, we hated him, couldn't stand him. But then I played on his team later on, and it was a blast. So I know what you mean, Midnight Rider.
Mm-hmm. All right, KG.
Well, let's throw it up. What you eating today?
Oh, I'm being lazy today, so I'm making a nice pot of spaghetti that can last me a couple days, and I'm good to go. I gotta give a shout out to Caribbean Grill. I had that Friday night off of DoorDash. Sorry, KG. I know you do Uber Eats. But yeah, Caribbean Grill, curry chicken. I got a large white meat. Oh man. I like to order Friday night and try to make 2 meals out of it if I can. And that was money. And then what did I eat last night?
Chop.
I made chicken and rice. The peppers and onions, and then I laid it over the cucumber tomato thing that my aunt does. So that joint was banging.
Oh yeah, KG. This Red Auerbach, he got a ring on too. He got a championship ring on too. Sight.
He should have quite a few on.
Nah, he's just wearing one at a time.
He ain't like Bill Belichick.
He don't like to gloat.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask Midnight Rider a question here.
Uh-oh.
Now, you being a Caroline, Big John ever come back to the school while you were there?
So you do know, Big
John went to St. Anthony's or St. John's.
No, he went to St. Anthony's as a coach.
Yeah.
Oh, he went to Curl?
Yes. Greatest basketball team ever, baby.
I thought he was at St. Anthony's. My bad.
No, you good. So I think we're right in that Honeycomb area. I think I'm 8 or 9. And my dad and uncle, my dad was 2 years before him at Carroll, and he was also at Our Lady of Perpetual Help with him. And that Big John kind of got turned off by the teachers at OLPH. So he didn't want to come back. But my dad and uncle talked him into coming back for a breakfast that their group threw. I want to say it was 80, 87 or 86. I know I was young. I know I hadn't gone. I know I was still going to elementary school. So I was like in the third or fourth grade when it happened. But John came up and he He came up, did the breakfast, talked to me for a little bit, and then left. And then the other story I had with John was being at his basketball camp my 8th grade year. And I think we had to get there like at 6 or 7 a.m. And some little kid yawned when John was talking. He almost kicked the kid out of the gym then. I was like, oh, shit. So you see a whole bunch of kids like yawning like this, KG. That's how everybody was yawning the rest of the day because you couldn't. So, but yeah, man, John was a stickler. Later on, I never really crossed paths with him. But yeah, early on he was around a little bit. That's just like JB. I got a couple James Brown stories, so I'll say those for later.
All right, Jack, what you eating?
Well, I am sitting here texting with somebody that is in the show. Not sure if it's the first time, the second time, or the third time he's been in the show. But a friend of mine said he's having taco lasagna. That sounds banging. I like taco casseroles and stuff my wife makes, but I never had taco lasagna. That is my buddy Nick Catucci. We were just speaking of his father with the communications union.
Okay.
His dad, man, whenever the phone company went on strike, his dad was on TV. And I used to tell him, man, you on TV more than the Flintstones, Pete. So, yeah, Nick, I tell stories about your dad quite often, bud. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate you viewing. We're going to have something today. My daughter's home again, back home from school. You know, it's a weekend thing.
You sound so happy.
I mean, she came home in good mood at least, man. She came home nasty last week, boy. I couldn't wait for her to leave, but she came in the office and seen me and sat down for a little while. It was a good homecoming this time. So she's gonna make these smash burgers tonight. But you gotta mix some mustard into the ground beef. I ain't never heard of that.
And use it as a binder.
Yep.
So she putting some mustard on the ground beef and stuff, and she gonna cook them up, and we're gonna put some caramelized onions on it.
Yep.
Lettuce, tomato, and a special sauce.
Yep.
Sauce is like a Big Mac sauce.
Yep.
And then she made these cheese fries to go with it that had caramelized onions on it, American cheese, in which I usually put cheddar on mine. And then she gonna do caramelized onions, American cheese, and that sauce on the fries.
Mm-hmm.
So I am looking forward to this. I like a nice smash burger. I was making smash burgers before people even knew what smash burgers was, man. My mom used to always make the patty and then put a little indentation in the middle so they don't turn into basketballs. But man, I get mine, put it on there like a basketball, and then I smoosh it down with my spatula. And you got to have high heat because you want to get a little crisp on the edge of that burger. Woo, cookie. I like a nice burger. So yeah, it's a knockoff from some restaurant. I don't know the restaurant.
It's a couple of restaurants that do smash burgers. Smash Burger does smash burgers.
Well, the way she's putting the sauce and the caramelized onions, the toppings are going on it are the same way somebody makes a burger. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't know the restaurant, bro. She out. They on a mission. They going to where they go? They went to Michael's. Jesus, Michael's can be expensive, but them cats, they come out of there. And it's all crafty stuff. You know, my wife will make something for the porch or something to hang on the front door.
Yep.
And I must have 80 of those things in the closet over there. Jesus Christ.
Nah, it's the like I used to go to crazy thing. I used to go to Burger King. And the only sandwich I get is their Big King because it's got the Big Mac sauce and it's got the charred, grilled, or broiled burger on it. And the second they stopped carrying that, I haven't gone back to Burger King since. I think the Whopper's overrated, but that's just me.
Right. Yeah, my cousin had Burger King across from his house, so whenever I went over to Big Tim's house, we was either eating Burger King or we're going to Sony's and getting them 5 wings and some rice for grape soda for $4.25 now, Sony's. But yeah, we used to do Burger King, and you know, Burger King over my way. And I used to go in there and I want double cheeseburger. Is what I get, and I the saying used to always be for Burger King: "Have it your way," right?
Yep.
Have it your way, Burger King. Well, I says, yeah, let me get 2 double cheeseburgers and let me get lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise on that. And they're like, all right. They come to me, ring it up. I'm like, oh, damn. How much them cheeseburgers cost? He's like, well, we got to charge you for the lettuce and we got to charge you for the tomato.
Good
I'm
God.
like, what happened to have it your way? Yeah, that was, I don't know, 6 months ago. Now, it don't make me stop going there. Me and my wife did a little thing recently where we went to the fast food joints and got, because I like a nice fish sandwich every once in a while, even if it's McDonald's. I'm down with the filet of fish every once in a while. No tartar sauce, please. Tartar sauce is nasty. But I went to McDonald's, got theirs. I went to Burger King, got theirs. I went to Hardee's and got theirs. And Chick-fil-A don't got no fish sandwich. Them cows got to go fishing. So ended up, Hardee's had the best piece of fish, but their last game was weak. And Burger King's fish was just terrible. And they advertise it as like cod, Atlantic cod or some shit. So I just stick with the McDonald's one. It's always got that soft bun and shit, you know. I wish they make their hamburgers like that.
That's because they steam the bun.
Right, but they don't do that for the hamburgers. They just do it for the fish
they
sandwich.
just pull that shit out the pack.
If they did the steam buns for the hamburger, whoo, that'd be money. So,
KG?
We haven't even looked at a menu yet for anything, so this is probably one of those
chicken, spatchcock chicken and broccoli.
I told my oldest daughter today, I said, when you come back from church, go get some golden skillet, man. That's where I'm at today. I wouldn't give a damn we got golden skillet.
I used to like the Golden Corral.
It's a good meatloaf. Is that your daughter? Yeah.
Yes.
I might need to see what I have to contribute to the fund to get a meatloaf. I don't know if I want to make my own or if I want to just go with something safe and know that I'm in good hands. Also, I might need a bread request. Like, what are the
man, you can't keep making requests, man, because I don't ever get none of this.
What's the confines on the bread request, bro?
I want some blueberry breads. And I'll drive to DC, Capitol Heights, wherever you at.
That was supposed to be on the docket today, but Lovey is a little under the weather. She was supposed to make blueberry muffins today.
Yeah, I like those, but I ain't never had blueberry bread. Blueberry bread with a peanut butter and jelly. Whoo, cookie.
Man, she made a loaf of bread. I think this was 2 weeks ago. And
I think we got another conversation going after this. Go ahead, KG.
I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with that loaf of bread. I think that's probably the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich I had in my entire life. I said, man, she put her foot in this motherfucking bread, boy.
If she can make me a bread, I will come get it and buy you a cheesesteak. I'm telling you, man.
All right, so real quick before we get out, we got like a minute and some change to get out before the 2-hour mark.
BJ, loving this.
Peanut butter. Are you a crunchy or a creamy guy?
Creamy only.
Okay.
If I want to eat some peanuts, I buy a bag of peanuts.
There you go.
No, I ain't chewing my peanut butter up crunchy. No, that's nasty.
Okay.
What you down with?
I'm with you. I'm in agreement with everybody. I think this is the first time somebody might want to mark this down. You know what I'm saying? 122 on 223.25. We all agree on something.
Yeah, we did. We ain't done that in a minute.
So with that being said, we got to come back in this thing. If you have not checked it out, last night, the Sideline Junkie Saturday Night WrestleManiacs did their picks for Elimination Chamber, which is next Saturday.
Great show.
We did the picks for that last night. Tomorrow you have Drive Time with Matty Ice at 5 p.m. Tuesday we'll be back for the Tuesday night flight. Wednesday, in the passenger seat, 8 p.m. Jack, who's your guest for that week with you and your backseat driver, the Midnight Rider?
Yes, sir. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. We will have ball player play ball at Front Heights High School. He's now down in Southern Maryland. He is one of the owners and operators of Extreme Baseball and Softball in Waldorf, Maryland. Chris Dooley will be on the show Wednesday. I look forward to chopping it up with Chris. He's a Cowboy fan, but we'll work our way around that. Great guy, all around great guy. So I look forward to talking with Chris. I think you'll enjoy it too, Midnight Rider.
Oh, and then Saturday, we also had the return. Well, actually, no, this is actually the second show.
I'm sorry. I am sorry.
The greatest fictitious college football show in the land that we called the Gridiron. We had a special edition.
What happened to Craig?
Hold on, I was going to come back to that. I got you, Jack.
I like that part. In the world.
Yeah, it's the greatest fictitious college football show in the world. Craig. In the world,
Craig.
I like that you pick up on that, man. But no, seriously, we did a show at 12:30 yesterday. So check that out. It should be in the archives. And then we also did a show last Sunday where we interviewed the participants in the championship game, which was the coach from Alabama, Dario, and the coach from Maryland, BJ. And the outcome of that was Alabama was crowned as the national champs. So now we enter into season 6. And last night we had it was Friday night. We had a great ball game between the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Penn State Nittany Lions. You dodged some bullets, bruh. But it was a great game, and I loved it. I hope I did it justice in my little breakdown. But yeah. So now we got a new segment called In the Fan Zone.
Good job, Craig.
And when you step into the
and we're gonna have sideline junkie fishing show.
Oh, that's coming back with it next week, man. Next Sunday.
Yeah, it's gonna be ready. And I tell you, all our listeners, that WrestleManiac show, I tuned in last night, man, just to peep my boys. That WrestleMania show is on point, man. If you're watching some other wrestling show, you need to get over Sideline Junkies and check out WrestleManiacs, man. I see a friend of mine's network trying to put together a little wrestling action. This is where it's at. WrestleManiacs, Saturday nights, man. We're ready to bounce, KG.
All right. Rolling up out of here. Jack Wagner checking out. So we got to check out. Peace, fellas. Always a good show. All right, everybody. We will see y'all on Tuesday. Tune in for Matty Ice on Monday, 5 p.m. But until then, that's the Gentleman Jack. That's the Midnight Rider. I'm the big guy, KG. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and supporting. We out of here.